Beautiful Riverside Lanes in Laughlin, Nevada played host to an event that offered the top bowlers on the West Coast an opportunity to achieve one of the most sought-after prizes in bowling today. The Proprietors Cup, in conjunction with BowlingEvolved.com, proudly brings to you its coverage of the first annual Laughlin Cup. Our top 5 qualifiers will bowl head-to-head to determine a champion, including 4-time PBA Senior National Champion Barry Gurney. Laughlin, Nevada's own hometown hero, Rich Wescom. Collegiate bowling standout, Kris George. Amateur bowling phenomenon, Jonathan Farrell. And our top qualifier, the King of Las Vegas, David Haynes. For all this and more, stay tuned. This is the Laughlin Cup.
Hello bowling fans, this is Dustin J. Markowitz on behalf of BowlingEvolved.com for the Laughlin Cup, bringing you our footage of the matches as they come forth. Sitting alongside me, as always, is my partner in crime, the 5-time PBA National Champion, and just one heck of a nice guy, the one and only Eric Forkel. Eric, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Why do you got to keep telling people I'm nice? I am nice. You don't have to tell them.
Well, you know, it's one of those things, so.
Well, here we are. We're at the Laughlin Cup.
Yeah, who would have thought after all this time we'd be down here, after all the promoting, all the shameless plugs that we've done?
Inside the beautiful Riverside Lanes.
Absolutely. You know, it's been really great. We have a fantastic show for our audience. We have several names that you will recognize, some names you won't, but I'm sure to see a lot of great bowling tonight. Also want to say a big thank you real quick to our sponsors, the Proprietors Cup, of course, TSFC, the Southwest Financial Center, and Riverside Lanes, as you said, and all of our listeners for making this possible.
Oh, I think it's great. Like I said, we've got some...
Hey, yes, you can hear in the background, we do have the Riverside with a full 2.5-hour waiting list right now, so we're going to be dealing with that tonight, but that's okay. We'll go from there. Looks like our bowlers are ready to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, we are starting the Laughlin Cup. Yeah.
So Barry's going to start the match.
Yep. As you can hear, we're kind of directing traffic as we go here. I do apologize to our fans. But that's okay. Barry Gurney, who both of these guys, which is kind of interesting, Eric, both these guys are Bowling Evolved staff members, which I think is kind of interesting that they're in our opening match.
Yes, I think that's quite apropos.
Yeah. Wow, big word.
So you got, well, I learned it yesterday. So you got Barry Gurney, who's a 4-time PBA Seniors champion, and he's got a lot of regional titles. He's in the Southern California Hall of Fame. That shot's going to be looking pretty good.
Very nice shot by Barry.
Strike.
Flush off the corner. You know, Barry, definitely has a very smooth style, traditional kind of bowler.
Yes.
Left-hander, which I'm okay with, but
you got to suffer through it.
Yes, I do.
You got to have at least one token on the show.
One token lefty, yeah.
So he's also a member of the Southern California Hall of Fame. He's got 6,300 games.
Gosh,
that's 6-0.
Wow.
Almost as old as he is. He's 71 years old. Yeah. He's almost got a 300 for his age. And he's got 9 800 series. So needless to say, he's got quite a few accomplishments.
Absolutely. Well, we just saw our first shot from Rich Wescom, our number 4 seed. High through the nose, big 4 split.
So Rich is a good player, local player.
Local player.
He's an assistant manager at Safeway.
Mm-hmm.
He said he's been bowling for about 38 years.
Has a lot of honor scores. Most recently, as we had on our show before, he shot 800 during our win-a-spot qualifier.
He says he's fortunate to have a few honor scores, but I watched him bowl, and he's got a nice little game, so I don't think he's fortunate. I think he's got a nice game.
Yep. Oh, he throws the ball very well. That first shot, I think,
A little bit of nerves, a little bit of jitter.
Absolutely.
Going up against the PBA champion. Even though he's a little older, he's still the PBA champion.
Absolutely. Rich is a very traditional bowler. You know, he had a lot of injuries when he was younger. He actually broke his back, tore his bicep completely off of his arm at one point while working. Managed to come together and make himself a very well-rounded bowler.
Yes, like I said, I got a chance to watch him bowl a little bit today, and he was very good.
Rich with his
Looks like
second
a pretty decent shot.
Good shot. Out the saws the rack. Goes through. First strike on the board for Westcom.
Can we see that in slow motion? Not quite.
Maybe later on.
Maybe later on, okay.
Post-production quality.
we could break it all down a little bit.
We're not ESPN yet, at least, well,
no,
yet.
I understand. So Gurney's going to come up on this pair, on lane 2. Lane 2 has a tendency to hook a little bit more than lane 1. So if he makes a good shot, he'll be fine, but he might go high if he doesn't do the right thing. Let's see what happens. Another good shot.
Another high flush.
Look at
we
that.
want to mention that our bowlers are bowling on the sunset strip pattern provided by Kegel.
Yes.
That was a pattern suggested by Mr. Del Warren, who was on our show before.
Yeah, it's I think it's a challenge pattern or a sport pattern, one or the other.
Challenge pattern, 40 feet.
It's 40 feet long. It's pretty flat. They call it the sunset strip because the lane is set up in strips. Whether you attack it from the inside angle or the outside angle, you have to find a way to hit the pocket consistently.
Yeah, a lot of great players have struggled on this condition, surprisingly, because of the way the lanes break down. I know during qualifying today we had many players not be able to make the right adjustments.
Yeah, well, it's not your, see that's that left lane right there.
Yeah, Arian shot out.
That left lane is a lot tighter, and when you trust the ball out there, you think it's going to make the turn, and it just goes an extra 4 or 5 feet, and it just doesn't have enough to come back.
Yeah.
You got to stay real straight on that left lane. That left lane's a little tricky.
Well, leading the 1-3-7, he is going to try to cross the ball over. Jersey, as the left-handers like to call it, Brooklyn for the right-handers.
That's correct.
Looks like a fairly
chance.
good shot. And, tough break for Gurney. Yeah.
Well, here we go. Now the match is going to snug up a little bit.
See if Westcom can make the adjustment on 2. Well, it's kind of funny, again, 1 and 2, traditionally speaking, as you know, many of our bowlers, I'm sure, at home know this, you know, they always tend to play a little bit differently from each other in every house you go to.
Yeah, it's really something. Sometimes the lane 1 hooks a lot, sometimes it's slicker. On the left side, it looks like lane 1's a little tighter. So when you trust the ball left, it's not going to come back. I'm not sure if the right side's playing the same way, but definitely the left side that way.
Well,
Let's see what he does on this shot here.
Oh, Rich, looks like a fairly good shot off the board. No, did not come back. Your lane 2 on that outside shot seems like that it's pushing a little harder down the lane.
Well, again, that's a characteristic of this pattern. It's done in strips. So when you trust that ball out to the right, you got to have the right cover stock and the right hand action to make the ball come back because you don't have a lot of forgiveness. Unlike if you were bowling on a house shot, that ball came screaming back into the pocket.
Absolutely.
But we wanted to put up a bit of a challenging pattern, and I feel pretty confident we definitely accomplished that.
I believe so as well. It seemed like the majority of the bowlers today were very happy with the scores. Cut scores were not ridiculously high.
It took 82 over for 5 games to make the top 5.
Conversion by Westcom there.
217, 218 average, something like that.
Yep. Even our top qualifier was, which was Mr. David Haynes, as we announced at the beginning of the show, was plus 155. Really not, you know, you go to some of these tournaments, you know, you see a lot of 2+250s for 5 games that, you know, to make a show, and fortunately we had a little bit more realistic today.
Yeah, and like I said, David coming off of bowling out on tour a little bit on that winner's swing, he's coming back here. He should be right on top of his game. You would kind of have to pick him as the favorite, obviously, because he led it, and you got to see what happens in his one-game match.
A lot of good bowling left, a lot of good bowlers left. Rich with his 4th shot, and little light, but swishes the pins out. You know, it's funny, we talked about on the show between high pocket and low pocket. Riverside Lanes has always seemed to be traditionally much better carry in the low pocket as opposed to the high pocket. Have you found in your own bowling, Eric, that certain centers just have that characteristic more often than others?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, good carry is generated by good ball motion, and if your ball motion is good, all of a sudden you carry a bunch of different pockets. Now this ball should come back on that lane.
Very good shot by Gurney in the
So the right lane is, I don't think is going to be the problem. I think the problem with him is he's going to have to get it started up to the pocket on the left lane. He's going to have to lead the ball up toward the head pin and let the ball settle, because if he trusts it to the left, it's not going to make it back. So that's going to be his Waterloo is going to be the left lane. That's the trick.
I will say right now, at least as far as we're concerned with bowlinginvolved.com, this is a fantastic way to start our show. I'm very proud of both of these bowlers today, and you know, really represents our brand very well. At least I would hope.
Yes, I'm very pleased with that. I think that's pretty cool. Very good. See, he kept that ball real straight up the lane. That ball went down and in about 7-8. Right flush. So let's see what Rich does on the right lane.
Rich coming up here in the 5th frame. I do want to apologize to some of our fans at home. Like, we have a lot of open play bowlers in here tonight. Great to see the recreational side of it going.
Pretty nice shot right there.
Yep. Little high. Oh, out of trouble. Leaves a 4 pin.
Pretty good shot. And by the way, Rich really does look like Doug Kent. He is your Laughlin Doug Kent.
The Laughlin Doug Kent.
So he should go to Indianapolis for the Hall of Fame induction and step out on stage and see what if they would say, you're Doug, right? You can go get his Hall of Fame induction.
I think what's interesting, this is the first competitive tournament, Rich was talking to me before the show today, that he has bowled in since 2001 that was not simply a local fun tournament. This is the first scratch event that he's bowled since 2000.
I like the fact that he takes 6 steps. He has a unique 6-step approach.
There's a conversion by Westcom on lane 2. Working off of the spare. Gurney working off of the double going into the 6th. He is definitely a throwback kind of bowler with the you don't see the 6-step too often anymore.
Well, you see, like I said, you see a few people who, like I said, Weber does it, Duke does it, and he does it, of course. It's just a giddy-up step. They just feel comfortable taking that odd step there. But it's kind of fun to watch because it's different.
Did you ever experiment with the 6-step approach?
I have. Actually, it's not too bad. It's just a way to get started. Let's count them.
Westcom up in the 6th frame.
3, 4, 5, 6 steps. There it is.
Comes through the ball.
A good pitch right there.
Yep, good shot. And comes out.
Ball just didn't corner early enough. It went a pinch too long. It just didn't make the turn quick enough.
I think that comes back to the strips of oil on the lane. You hit a little bit of skid area, ball continues going straight, does not get the back end.
I mean, that's the tough part about the pattern.
Definitely has just a beautiful release, beautiful stroke.
Yes, he's got good hand action. He goes through the ball very well.
I think potentially, if he decides to keep bowling these kind of events, that he could be a big force to be reckoned with down the road.
Absolutely.
Comes up for the spare conversion. Makes it no problem.
Easy spare.
They're 10 pin into 10. One thing I love too, and Barry and Rich both do this, I love the fact that you have the little camaraderie between the bowlers. You have a lot of people that don't like the fist pumps or the high fives.
I don't do that.
You don't do that.
No, when you're down there competing, when it's all over, you can go out and buy your buddy a drink or a beer. But when you're competing, I think you should just basically try to kill each other. It's called competition.
Yeah.
When you're bowling league, you can high-five everybody. But when you're out there competing, I think you should compete. When you watch other sports, when they're playing basketball or other sports, when they're competing against each other, most of the time the opposing team does not congratulate each other. They do when the game is over.
When the game is
but
over.
in the middle of competition, when the guy hits the home run, the other team doesn't go out in there and give him a high five, do they?
Yeah, but bowling.
The answer is no.
The camaraderie between bowling is a little bit different than other sports.
I understand that, but in my opinion, when you're competing, you should compete. When it's over, you shake hands and say, nice bowling, nice match. But when you're competing, compete. That's my opinion.
Yeah, well, you're entitled to it.
I understand. I'm sticking with it. I like competition. That's the tougher lane.
Yeah, Gurney trying to.
Yeah, good shot though.
Yep.
Ball just in. Good shot though. Very competitive shot.
Score is really not. I mean, Gurney obviously with the lead here, not running away with the match by any means though. Big spare conversion here.
Yes.
Corner pin's never a favorite for any bowler, but obviously someone with Barry's experience must have an advantage in this kind of a situation.
You would like to think so.
Comes up to make a spare and converts it.
Very good.
Barry. Westcom.
Looks like Barry's shooting 2-1.
Yep.
And Rich is shooting 190.
Yep. Maximum of 244 for Barry Gurney at this point. Another flash announcement from our helpful Riverside staff. Again, you know, the one nice thing though, it is a little bit of a hindrance for a telecast, but I will say that at least it's good to see this much business inside a bowling center. You know, it's a welcome change to unfortunately a lot of centers across the United States right now.
No, I think this is very cool. Hopefully people will enjoy it.
Westcom up. Trying to get that. Yep. And
wow. There you go.
Brings everything forward. One of those.
You can see that ball went a little bit. He's made a pretty good pitch. Maybe threw it a tad faster, and the ball went a little bit longer, like it should on this. Like I said, it's speed sensitive, it's angle sensitive, and that's why the scores are in the moderate range, medium to low, except for a few people can create a little more area, open things up a little bit.
Well, the beauty of it is when the night comes, or push comes to shove, unfortunately it's being televised right now, but you can always see at the end of the night that, you know, that was high flush. That wasn't light at all.
10 is 10, no matter how they fall, right?
Exactly. Rich coming up in the 8th frame.
That's a little left off his hand.
He's another big 4 split. That's going to put him in a big hole here, Eric.
Yeah, that's I don't want to say an amateur mistake because professionals make that mistake too, but it's the first time he's been in this environment from what I'm understanding, and you know, the pressure, trying to make good shots under the lights, under the gun, and your swing gets a little tight, your footwork gets a little off, and the next thing you know, you're looking at a big 4.
Yep, trying to make it hurry. Loses some sticks there. It looked like he was trying to maybe bounce it off the wall.
You know, it's always easier. I've never made a bad shot from this side of the settee. I never made one bad shot from back here. It's always when you're out there those bad shots come up.
I don't know. When I used to do trick bowling, I used to throw shots in the settee area.
Yep.
That's another video for Bowling Evolved.
Yes.
Gurney coming up in the 8th.
It's a little bit right.
Yeah. Now this match, that's an interesting shot from Gurney.
Kind of made a poor shot there, and he's going to pay the full price. But fortunately for him, his opponent struggled a little bit as well. He might be able to make this. This is very makeable, believe it or not.
And pin count is very important here. Definitely have to be thinking about trying to get the 3. And wow,
there you go.
Fantastic shot by Barry Gurney.
That's a senior spare, veteran spare. I should say a super senior spare. That's what happens when you're older. See, you got all that years of experience.
Wow, great shot. You know, obviously, I've always loved the way Barry has thrown the ball. I mean, just, you know, nothing really fancy about his game, just consistent over and over again, and makes the shots when they need to be made.
That's it. That's a good pitch.
Yep, another good shot.
If he can come back that left lane and then figure out and make a good shot on the right lane, he's in good shape. He's definitely going to be the winner of our first match.
Well, short of falling in the gutter on 2 consecutive shots, but I don't see that happening, unfortunately. Or fortunately, obviously, for Mr. Gurney, and unfortunately for Mr. Wescom. But, you know, again, a lot of kudos out to Rich. Did very well, won the winning spot, made the telecast. Hey, not a lot of guys can say that. A lot of guys went home unhappy today.
Yeah, that would be correct. And that's what happens. A little bit wide. See, that's the tough part of this pattern, especially pair to pair. You know, you catch a pair, the strip and re-oil, the lanes keep getting re-oiled, and it just changes that break point a little bit. That's the trickiest thing, is to control the break point. All the good bowlers have to find a way to, by controlling the break point, I mean, when you miss a little bit right, the ball still comes up. Not when you miss right, it goes too far. That just means you're not controlling, you don't have a good control of the break point where the ball takes its turn. It becomes very speed sensitive, and you pay the price.
Westcom with the conversion in the 9th. That's going to lock out the game and lock it in for Barry Gurney, advancing to the next round, taking on our next competitor here, Kris George.
Now talk about an age difference. Now you're going to have a big age difference. He could be his son.
Or possibly grandson.
This could be his grandson.
Hopefully Barry doesn't hear the show.
That's got a chance.
That's a good shot. Oh.
Yes, I meant his grandson.
Yeah. But, yeah, George was a former collegiate bowler for UNLV, but again, absolutely nothing to be ashamed of for Rich Wescom. Bowled very well today. You know, made the telecast, and you know, for a guy that is just, you know, really getting into the competitive side of things, I think that, you know, he should be very happy with his performance today.
Yes, I agree.
Makes a spare.
Chalk it up to experience. The next time he comes and bowls something like this, he'll have a little more experience.
Absolutely, and I know he'll be back out on the lanes in no time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Rich continues and finishes out here, we are going to be continuing our broadcast. We will have a short break. Of course, during our commercial here, we will be showing the trivia giveaway that we're going to be doing here in between matches.
There you go. That's a good pitch right there.
Up the boards and blows it out. 168 for Rich Wescom. You know, tough pattern. Yep. Possibly, you know, a little bit of energy from not bowling. I mean, he did shoot 10 games in qualifying, which obviously had to have taken its toll today.
Absolutely.
You know, especially when you're not used to the competitive
That
position.
means Barry is one step closer to the cup.
Yes, he is. Ooh, kind of an Aryan shot there, but doesn't need it at all at this point, so hopefully it was just kind of to get a feel for the lane.
No, it's not the way you'd like to finish the game, but fortunately the match is already over, and you use that as a, just let it go. On to the next one.
Barry lining up to convert the spare. 4-7-8, and woo. Chalks the 4-7-8.
There you have it.
Yeah, interesting. 198 to 168, 30-pin difference.
168.
Big round of applause,
All
Barry
right.
Gurney advancing on. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around when we come back. Our next match
Stop it.
right after this. Okay, welcome back, bowlers.
Oh,
Barry
ring
Gurney.
7, good shot.
Yeah.
The ubiquitous 7-pin,
Yep.
there you go.
Very interesting here. We have Gurney moving on, taking on Kris George, as we said.
Kris George, what's the story with Kris George? Young kid,
Absolutely.
his high game is 300, he's got about 8 of them. His high series would be 808. I'm assuming that's for 3 games.
I'm hoping so.
There you
Gurney
go.
with the conversion.
There you
Makes
go.
a spare on lane
He
1.
lives in Vegas, he bowls
Bold for UNLV.
collegially for UNLV, very cool. And he won a ton of junior bowler titles.
JBT, which JBT obviously very popular on the West Coast here. 25 JBT titles.
Yes, obviously he's a very skilled player. Young kid, was he 25?
25 years old, I
25
believe.
years old, and Barry is a little bit older than that.
I believe he's
And
25.
there you go. That just goes to show you that in bowling you can be of any age.
Yep. Hopefully, if he listens and we're wrong on that, he won't hold it against us. Ooh, and Stokes with a beautiful strike.
Right out the back.
Yep.
Strike, nice shot. Look at the way the 10-pin went off the deck. That looked pretty good. Let's see what happens on the left lane.
Absolutely. Definitely gets the ball down a little early. A lot of power behind us, you know.
Contemporary game, modern game.
Yep.
He's kind of a bit of a tweener, I would say. He's not real straight, but he doesn't really buzz it up. He's kind of in between.
Stays behind the ball fairly well, it
Yeah.
seems like.
Rolls it nice into the lane. Let's see what he does on this lane.
Feet, left foot a little bit ahead of the right foot on the approach in the start. Comes up behind the ball, and ooh.
Now you see that's that lane 1 again.
Yeah.
That ball pushed a little longer, so for whatever reason, the left lane is playing a little tighter, and the players have to adjust with either speed or a different bowling ball to try to make the adjustment.
Well, we left the 2-7 here on lane 1. You know, it's tough pair. You know, a lot of different people have struggled in this house throughout the years since the inception of this bowling center. 1 and 2 has always kind of been that pair that people seem to dread for whatever reason.
You never know what you're going to get with 1 and 2. That's
Comes
for sure.
through and wow,
Good spare.
makes it the hard way. Good
Picks up
shot.
the baby split.
Yep. Kind of a non-traditional way of picking that up, but whatever works.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's probably not the way you want it, but he'll take the conversion, of course.
Absolutely. Gurney
Let's see
coming
what
up.
Barry does here on the right lane. The last couple of shots he's thrown at it's been a little bit off. He just has to make a good shot because there's a nice look on that lane. You just got to execute a good shot. A little bit nicer shot.
Yeah. Comes up behind the ball and flush.
And he threw the ball very nice, and he carried on that shot.
Well, carry, as we talked about on the show, and as you talked about quite a bit, carry is such a key with bowling. It's, you know, you could be bowling the best of your ability and just not get the score.
Well, and I know Barry bowled 2 sets. In the second set, he made it into the finals. In the first set, I told him his ball was too shiny. His ball was going too far. It wasn't reading the pattern. So I explained to him about altering the surface of the ball, and that seemed to make a big difference. And he scored a lot better.
What ball is Barry throwing today, Rich?
It looks like he's throwing an IQ,
Eric.
Pick a name. Good shot there.
Eric.
He's throwing an IQ Tour. Matter of fact, one of the newer balls from Storm. It's a very aggressive ball. It's a solid. And we put a little surface on it to get it to read a little faster, because when he threw it on the first set, it was going too far, and it wasn't reading the pattern right. We dulled it up a little bit, and it looks much, much better.
Yeah, I was laughing at Rich. I saw him just sit down, so I do apologize. He sat down in our broadcast area here. Of course, you do kind of look like Rich. I'm just going to say, you guys got the same hairdo going, so.
Yes. You got the look. Pretty good pitch there.
Ooh. Little far outside.
That ball just, like I said, that's the trouble spot there. That is a trouble spot right there.
210 split, back-to-back splits, converted the baby split. This is going to be a little bit more difficult. Going to have to try to slide the ball on the left side of the 2-pin, kick it over into the
Now, it's interesting because this could be a situation where, the person in the first match might march all the way to the title. They get a feel for the lanes and playing a little straighter, a little more down and in. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
Now, Eric, you were in this position many times on the PBA Tour. Did you prefer bowling the more games to the step ladder, or did you prefer being on top?
Well, I was fortunate to win from...
Wow, great conversion by Kris George.
I was fortunate to win from both spots, from the 5th spot and from the lead. I always thought it was tougher to win from the lead, to be honest with you. You kind of get a game under your belt, and you kind of get the feel for the lanes, and get your feet under you, and you just kind of get accustomed to what's going on out there, and you kind of build some momentum. I think it's a slight advantage to the player who's on the pair before the next match has started. Kris has picked up a couple of challenging splits, of course, which is keeping him right in the match.
Yeah, he's definitely playing the lanes to, trying to power through what's going out there. Coming up on lane 1.
That's a little better pitch right there.
It's ball out. High flush.
That was pretty clean off his hand. Straighter through the front, didn't give it up to the right. Good shot, and that's what the pattern demands, and that's why we did it.
And this is definitely a byproduct, as we talked about many times before, of the collegiate program. Here's I say kid, he's not that much younger than I am, that went through the ranks and now is competing on a bigger stage and has an opportunity to really make a name for himself, bowling against one of the greatest senior PBA players in the history of the game.
See, there you go. And there you have it. That's what it's all about. Let's see where this one goes.
4th frame, Gurney.
Answers are very good. Good shot. Now see, that right lane, he's a little bit deeper than on the left lane, and so far it looks pretty good.
3 in a row for Barry Gurney.
Keeping the pressure on. Kind of, you got to do that. You got to keep the heat on because it's a one-game match. Anything can happen in a one-game match.
Anyone can beat anyone on any given day.
That's what they say.
Maximum score of 290 for Barry Gurney right now, coming up in the 5th frame. So poised in these situations too, Eric. I guess all that experience out on tour definitely pays off.
Barry was out on that senior tour for almost over 20 years. Pretty good shot right there.
Shot.
Wow,
Barry's
look at that.
4 in a row.
What a good shot that was.
Yeah. As a shout out to our friends on the PBA, ham bone, is that what they are calling it these days?
No, it's a 4-bagger.
It's a 4-bagger, that's what I always call it. But
let's call it a 4-bagger, please. You can call it a ham bone.
I never called it a ham bone.
I'd like to call it a 4-bagger.
Growing up, it was 4-bagger, 5-bagger, 6 for me, 7-bagger. Not ham bone.
Well, that had its place, I guess. That will go down in PBA folklore as the ham bone, which is fine.
Yeah, for bowling of all purposes, it's a 4-bagger.
We're calling it a 4-bagger.
George up on lane 2, and
look at this.
10-pin. Almost got a little help there. A little bit flat on the back end. Do you think the oil's starting to push down already?
No, I just think that the right-handers, when they swing the ball away, it just makes the pattern very challenging to carry. I think a little straighter is better. Now, in our final match is David Haynes. He can send the ball to the right, but he's got a lot more hand. He hits the ball, so he may be able to peel it back to carry. It should be very interesting if, for some reason, Barry Gurney can make his way to the final match. That would be very interesting to see what happens.
Definitely a contrast of style. Looks like he's stuck a little bit there on the approach.
Well, now there's a mistake that you just don't want to see. Not when somebody's got a 4-bagger at you.
Yeah.
That digs the hole a little deeper, unfortunately.
Don't know if he got a little fast with his feet there or if he's stuck on the corner, but...
You know what? You'd have to ask him, but it looked like he got a little quick. He hit a spot, he's stuck, and he missed to the right, and boy, I'll tell you what, there's no forgiveness either on the spares.
No. I laughed when we interviewed Rich Wescom. He said the one thing he wanted to do when he was bowling for Bowling Evolve was make all the spares this year. That's always a good thing to do, and I don't care what kind of tournament you're bowling in, you gotta convert, you gotta close frames.
Yes, you do. Let's see with this one.
George on 1, and comes in high. Ooh.
Well, now you see he didn't trust that ball as well. He missed a little bit, and the ball checked up early. So really, he's kind of in jail right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's stuck. He's going to have to make a decision real quick. Are you going to make a ball change, or do you just keep trying to work with this ball? It looks like he's throwing I can't quite see what he's throwing.
Yeah,
it looks like an IQ, but I can't tell from this far back.
Tough spare conversion here, 3, 6, 9, 10. A lot of bowlers get a little too straight on this, leave that 9-pin still standing. Let's see what George does here.
That's trouble.
Ooh, and oh.
Yep, that's trouble. It's really difficult, especially on this pattern, because on a house shot, you can kind of read what the ball's going to do with the oil in the middle, dry on the outside. This is flat across and done in strips, so it's really challenging. He really put himself, unfortunately, in a hole.
Gurney with a commanding lead at this point, working off of his 4-bagger, coming up in the 6th frame.
He basically can put a spike right in there. Yeah. That's pretty good right there.
Pretty good shot. Gurney converts 5 in a row. He is definitely sticking the nails into the coffin at this point. Things are almost shut closed, going into the 7th frame. Still a few frames to go, but it's going to be hard to see many mistakes coming from Barry Gurney at this point.
I agree.
Gurney, always such a proponent for scratch bowling and competitive bowling. It's so great to see him come down to Laughlin and support what the Laughlin Cup was all about.
Well, once again, it just goes to show you could be obviously a little bit older and still be very, very competitive,
Gurney with his 7th frame shot.
Wow, he's starting to get a feel of it. He's starting to get a feel of this pair.
Yeah. Got that a little.
Well, maybe that left lane is going to burn a little bit. If the left lane opens up a little bit, he's the only left-hander bowling right now, so he's got it going on. He's creating a little bit of spot there. So, boy, the train starts rolling. Who knows what he's going to do?
Looked like it got a little left off. Off
came
his
back,
hand, but came flying back. So if you have it, use it. George trying to maintain something here in the 7th. Ooh, I think at this point he might just be pressing. What do you think, Eric?
Well, I mean, any good bowler can look up and see your opponent, spare 6 in a row at you, and you're shooting $180, and you're down by 50, 60 pins. That being said, you kind of just pack your stuff and go to the next one.
Yep.
Chalk it up for experience, pick up a few dollars, and move on.
Yep. George with the conversion.
Unfortunately, in bowling, there's no defense. It is all offense. There's no defense. It's when players get defensive. That's usually when there's trouble.
Coming up in our next round, we will have Jonathan Farrell out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Looks like unless burying a meteorite hitting the bowling center at this point, that Barry Gurney is going to be moving on.
That's a pretty good pitch right there.
Yeah, good shot though. Good shot from George.
Good pitch right there.
I thought that was a pretty decent analogy there. You had the meteor with storm at one point, didn't you? The bowling ball.
Meteor flash, yes.
Meteor flash. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I used that ball to win I used that ball in the outdoor tournament. I won with a black meteor flash. So yes, that's correct. Yep. Let's see what Barry can keep this thing going.
Gurney,
pretty good shot right there.
Good shot. Another flush.
Well, I'd like to say he's lined in. What do you think?
I have a feeling that if he can maintain the pace and keep going, we're going to have some very high-scoring matches here for the next couple of matches. Gurney 290 if he goes off the sheet here, coming up in the 9th frame. A lot of dead air there. I guess we should actually say something as he's flying. It's hard to talk when you have, you're kind of just enjoying the match.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yep, that left lane. That left lane is starting to make a pretty good move. So now all that, as you bowl, you feel confident. Now you can miss a little left and the ball comes back, and if you get it up the lane, it holds. Well, that starts to build confidence in your stroke, and it feels better.
Yeah, he's been throwing the ball very well. I mean, all day today. I mean, even in the first squad, he struggled a little bit early in his first test squad, but he really came back strong. George, at this point, it's.
But again, you try to circle it like that. He's going around it. When you try to circle it, you better have enough hand or enough cover stock to bring it back.
I'd like to see him on a cheetah pattern. So I think that'd be a very interesting pattern to see him bowl on.
I watched him bowl in Las Vegas, and he's won a lot of 5-gamers at South Point on different patterns. But when he strikes a lot. But when it gets challenging, like anybody else, it's a little tough to find the pocket.
Well, spare conversion there. 2-8.
And if you happen to catch a pair, that's a little tricky, and you're kind of stuck on it, Yeah. So he can do $185, and obviously he's going to fall short. Barry can go off the sheet for 290.
Definitely a little spectacular here. Have a very nice.
Barry can shoot 190, 290.
It's an interesting turnaround. Definitely have a nice little crowd watching the show today, which is always nice to see. People coming out to support the tournament.
That's a little left off his hand.
Lane 1, Ooh. 3-6 still standing. Now.
He's just trying to get out of his way right now for the most part, and let Barry finish it up, and we'll see what happens. So far, it looks like that senior experience is showing its way.
Senior experience. Now you wouldn't know any of that from personal experience.
No,
though, right?
I wouldn't know that. I'm barely 25 years old myself.
Oh, there's some another dead air moment there after a while.
Yeah. Oh well. I was 25 once, 27 years ago.
Well, we asked a trivia question between squads. Someone thought you won the PBA National Championship in 1972. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not talking to them anymore. There's no discussion. I was 12 then. Sorry. Good shot.
What was it like bowling with Dick Weber on the Budweisers back in the day?
I wouldn't know. I only saw the movies. I only saw the films. Well, it was a little disappointing, 173, but Kris has got to feel good overall because he made the top 5. That's what it's all about.
He's taking home a paycheck and got some more experience for next time.
Exactly.
Gurney hoping to light up the audience here and finish out strong. 3 more strikes, 290. First ball in the 10th. Ooh, looked like he eased up a little bit on that one.
Yeah, he's got the ball in a little bit eased up, and there's not a lot of forgiveness because it's not a house shot. So he can shoot 260.
Going up, line up for the spare at this point. 4-7.
Are we gonna fill the 10th frame? Yes.
All right, good shot by Gurney.
Little 260.
It appears our media producer has come into the booth, and someone you're quite familiar with, Eric.
Yes! Yes! I remember her from somewhere, yes. That's a good shot. Oh, he ripped that 7 right out. 268.
This is Shelly Forkel to stop in, and Gurney with a phenomenal game right there. We're going to take
Senior power!
Senior power. Big smile from Barry Gurney there. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, bowling fans. Coming into our third match of the evening. Looks like Barry is going to be starting on lane 1, coming up against Jonathan Ferrell.
So Jonathan Farrell is 45. He's out of Scottsdale, Arizona. He's got 10 sanctioned 300 games. He's got a high of about 825. He said he started bowling at a young age. Grew up in Orange County, California. He bowls a lot of the ACBAs, ABTs, and the Strike Force tournaments in Arizona. He bowls in a couple leagues, and he works for a delivery service.
Oh, good to see.
So he's obviously an amateur player, but he's got a nice little swing, a little bit of a down and in player. He's going to attack this pair a little bit differently than the other two bowlers who are on the pair on the right side. So let's see what happens.
Well, Gurney with his first frame left a 10-pin. Came in, went a little bit left with his shot. I don't know if he took a little off the ball or.
Well, you know, that's the lane again. That lane is still does not as much forgiveness as lane 2. But you know, if you come in a little light and you leave the 10-pin, it's not such a bad thing.
Well, Farrell, first ball, and
almost the same head.
Yeah, almost the exact
almost
same.
the exact same head on the right side. So tit for tat, right there. There you go.
Very, very deliberate up the board kind of delivery.
Yep.
The ball really hits hard when it comes off his hand onto the lane. You can really hear it slam in there.
Yes. Well, you know, nowadays, obviously, the bowling balls hit really well most of the time. You just got to get them to corner and hook at the right spot. And I think that's the key. Obviously, the guys who do it for a living, they're experts at it. And the ones who kind of do this on the weekend, like we all do now, it's still a learning process.
Well, Ferrell with his spare picks up the
spare.
10-pin, no problem. All evened up after one. Speak for yourself, I don't bowl on the weekends anymore. Although I am bowling tomorrow, coincidentally, now that you mention it. So
you were telling me you're going to start bowling again. There you go.
Yeah, well, hey, had a good night coming down here when I ran our win a spot on Thursday night, so why not? Keep going.
Why not?
Of course, I can always throw a plug out to Motive Bowling for helping me out with that. Oh, just
a shameless plug.
Shameless plug. So I'm good at, you know.
Well, you should. They make a good product. Why not?
Love their new ball, Thrash Frenzy. Great product. Ferrell, second frame. Looked like he got that a little left off his hand, but it held in there.
Yep.
Tripped out the four-pin.
It's got a nice down and in shot. You know, a low rev player, but real straight to the front. It's got a very straight arm swing, front to back. And the ball just stays on line and let the ball do the work. So he's going to attack this pair differently, and let's see what happens. Barry's going to have to show up this game. He's going to have to show up again. This is not. That's what it looks like to me.
Well, so far he's been showing up every game.
That's a little bit better shot right there. Oh, ball went a little high. There's that right lane hook a little bit.
Looked like he hit where it's starting to get that breakdown
coming
in.
Yeah, he's going to, more than likely, I think he can chase it right. He can chase because he's the only lefty on the pair. He should have a little more fresh oil to move into, get a little cleaner push. Even though it is a sport shot, the ball should still get through change your angle a little bit through the front. It's nice when you're the only one. You can break the lane down a certain way.
Makes the conversion there, makes the four-pin. Yeah, Gurney only left-hander on the telecast this evening.
Like I said, it does have its advantages at times, and that's you can break the pattern down a certain way, and then it's just up to you to keep making good shots. Because I think Jonathan's going to give him a game.
I believe so as well. He was very competitive. He actually bowled both squads, although he had good scores in both sets today. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Gurney, third frame.
That'll hold.
Great.
That was an excellent shot on the left lane.
Gotta love it when the pins are flying across the deck like that. It's just something that makes you feel good about yourself when you throw a shot like that.
That was an excellent shot on the left lane. He really threw that ball well. You know, everything was correct, and the ball hit like a ton. Like I said, the IQ Tour is an excellent bowling ball.
Ball makes a great product.
They have for a lot of years.
I'll give them just as much of a plug as I would Motive.
Let's see what Jonathan can do here on the right lane.
Jonathan up, third frame here. Lane 2. Had a little bit of trouble on this lane during the practice. Let's see what he does here.
There's that light hit.
Oh, leaves the 8-pin.
So that ball's coming in a little light, 2 shots in a row. Now, it's not like you can move right and find more friction like on a house shot. You can't do that on this. You've just got to find a way to make the ball roll through that spot. You either go to a ball that rolls quicker, slow it down a little bit to give the ball a chance to grab. You have to decide which way you got to make the move.
Farrell coming up, conversion here, 8-pin. Just a slight adjustment with his feet. Looks like he'll be throwing close to around the same mark. And conversion, no problem there, single pin conversion. As I happen to glance down towards the open play here in the house, I notice an IQ Tour Pearl going down the lane, the gold ball. So
throw the gold ball. That's what they say. Throw the gold.
Throw the gold. Yeah. Now Ferrell coming up here, the fourth frame, lane 1. This was a stronger lane during the practice, and obviously has a strike on it so far in the second frame. Comes up, and
pretty good shot right there.
Good
the
shot
ball
by
almost
Farrell.
kind of, you hear the double dribble, a little bit of a bounce up front. It's good. The ball's coming off a little quick, and it kind of hitting that lane and a little bit of a springboard effect, but he kept the ball real straight, kept it on line, and it held pocket very nice.
Well, it seems like he's still following through very strongly with his arm swing as well. And
Yeah.
the
swing is really good front to he's lining it up really nice on that left lane. He's got to do the same thing on the right lane. That's the trick, to do them on both lanes.
Gurney.
Let's see what Barry does here.
Here in the fourth.
He's got to hurry.
Yep. Need that a little room. Ooh.
Oh, bad break.
He's a 7-9.
That's a strange leave. That ball kind of went a little bit. See, he might have made a move, and the ball squirted a little bit too far on the back. It didn't grab, and the ball got some strange pin carry there.
7-9, definitely going to be going for one here. I'd have to assume. Get the pin count, move on to the next frame.
Yep, that's all you can do. Tough break.
There's one. Eric, I know that's one thing that I see quite a bit from more inexperienced players, that they always try to make these splits instead of taking into consideration what the pin count can mean to them. I'm sure you see that as well up in Las Vegas.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's still early in the match, and he just, he's got time to throw some strikes, but now the pressure has definitely shifted. He's feeling it right now, more than likely.
Gurney coming up here in the fifth frame. Looking to get back on track.
Pretty good shot right there.
Looks like he's gaining back in there, and
ball went a little bit too long on that. There's that left lane. He has to make a really good shot on that left lane to not only hit the pocket, but to carry the 7. That was an okay shot, but he missed it a little bit at the bottom. He looked like he kind of lofted the ball a touch long, and it made the ball squirt a little bit longer. I mean, it's a good shot, but it wasn't good enough to strike.
Right. Looking to convert the 7 pin here. No problem there. We had talked several times before about the importance of hand position and release to, a fraction of an inch can mean the difference between a strike and, a flat 10 or a flat 7.
I mean, that's what it is. Now, we'll see what happens here. Now, Jonathan can put a little hammer on him right here if he makes a good pitch.
Absolutely. Double will put a lot of pressure.
Curious to see what happens here.
Farrell?
Pretty good shot.
Yeah, looks like he's trying. Dove at the last second.
Look at that.
Big.
And you see that ball, I thought that was a pretty good shot, and that ball just jumped off the back of the lane.
It looked like he got that about a board and a half right of where he was throwing at before, and the ball just caught that dry. And
now you see, that's the toughness of the pattern. So here we are now. Barry opened, and now we're right. The match is even again.
Yeah, the match is all even, and the importance of, there we go again, making the pin count. Obviously, Ferrell is, 2 gets him 4 in this situation. Gets a little wide, gets 1.
Yeah, so Barry's up, he's up by 3, technically,
point, yes. Gurney
so
up
just
by,
like that, he's back in the match.
Amazing, up by 3 in the 5th frame. One thing I've always loved about bowling, regardless of, whether it's the PBA Tour or even your local tournaments, I mean, bowling can change at any moment, and I've been so privileged to be able to see some of the differences and changes throughout the any matches I've watched. It's really an incredible thing to see. Farrell also coming up here in the 6th frame, working off an open, looking to get back into the match here with a strike.
Lower 7-10 gets the 7 to fall, and the pin comes across in front of the 10, and here you go. So right here, it's going to be a tight match right to the finish. We'll see what Barry comes up here and see what kind of shots he makes.
It looks like one of the drawbacks of playing so far behind the ball as he is, that you don't get that extra oomph on the back end.
Yeah, because he really just kind of rolls it, and he's that you lose a little bit of power, of course, but that's part of that's his style.
Gain the accuracy and
correct.
Gain for the power.
Good spare.
Well, it looks like he's going to convert that. Easy 10 pin. Yeah.
So we got a 3-pin match right there.
Very, very interesting situation we have here. Gurney with an opportunity to put some pressure on Farrell.
Now, with all Barry's experience, I'm looking for him to make a pretty good shot here.
He's definitely eyeballing that lane pretty hard in between frames here.
That's a pretty good shot.
Yeah, looks good from here, and kicks
There he
the
did.
7.
He made a good shot.
Great shot by PBA champion Barry Gurney.
That's a senior moment right there, boy. He answered the call, a senior moment.
And that's why he's our #1 pro staffer right now for bowlingevolved.com.
That's right. He's the only guy on staff where he pays us to be on staff.
Works for me.
You see, we're the only staff where the people pay to be on our staff.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good. I don't think that's a good thing.
Well, you know, it's.
You got to start somewhere. You know, you got to pay. You want to be on the Bowling Evolved staff. You got to pay to be on it.
Well, we got Doug Kent now, so that's all that matters.
That's true. Here we go. Pretty good shot there. Let's see what happens.
7.
Wow.
That lane really seems to have pushed down.
I'll tell you what. It looked pretty good off his hand. Real close, and it went a pinch too long.
So, Eric, you're very Gurney in this situation. You've gotten a couple kind of weird reads now on lane 1. What's your move?
Well, you've either got to go to a ball that's stronger, something that revs faster, and I don't know if he brought it with him, or you've got to change your speed a touch maybe. Go with a little less speed.
Gurney looking for the conversion. Oh.
Missed the spare.
Comes in a little hot, ends up chopping the...
Well, now we're right back.
Yeah, 3-9. Kind of definitely an interesting situation.
Wow.
Can't
See
be
what
happy
happens
with
here.
that shot.
See what happens here. This match is going back and forth.
Absolutely. Couple mental errors here and there, but you know, actually, to be honest with you, I really thought Gurney threw a pretty decent shot at that spare.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't. He didn't have. There's not a lot of room on that left lane still.
Farrell,
Let's see what happens here. Got that ball right.
Got it a little right, and ooh, 7 pin.
There's that. See, when he trusts it out there, it doesn't quite make it, but when he points it up, it goes through the nose.
Still a tight match any way you look at it.
Yep, still is.
Needs a conversion here. Move on to the next frame.
More and more I watch this, I kind of get the feeling David Haynes is licking his chops.
Absolutely.
If I was David Haynes, I'd be licking my chops.
David Haynes, our top qualifier today, 10-time Team USA member, also multiple-time regional champion, the King of Las Vegas, as he's known.
Absolutely, one of the top players to ever come out of Vegas.
Ferrell looking for the convert. Oh,
there you go.
Oh, it looked like it caught the oil there for a second from
That
our
was
vantage
close.
point.
So Barry's down by about 8.
8 pins.
8 pins down with 3 frames to go.
That goes to show you how important the pin that Ferrell missed in the 5th might come back to haunt him.
That's correct.
You know,
He's got a good hand.
yeah. Or have a good view of the warm-up here as we're sitting here as well, and it's going to be an interesting next match. Definitely a contrast of styles of whoever advances here.
Yes.
Ferrell, going up in the 8th frame.
Pretty good pitch there.
Yeah. Got it inside, got the hold,
That's
and
that
got
shot.
the carry.
There's that up the lane shot.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's like do or die for Mr. Gurney.
Yeah, Barry needs a strike here in order to survive to go into the 9th frame. Double here puts a lot of pressure on the young Farrell. Well, I guess not young, 45-year-old Farrell, younger Farrell.
Yeah, he's got to make 2 good shots here and hope he carries.
Very 8th frame.
That's a pretty decent shot there.
And answers right back with a strike.
Very. Here comes the Waterloo once again, that left lane. Here comes that left lane.
It's kind of funny that it seems like Farrell has been struggling on 2, Gurney's been struggling on 1. Lefty versus righty.
If he can throw a strike here, that'll change it right up. But I don't know. I'm sure what's going through in his mind right now. That should be only he would know. I guess that's only he would know.
I would hope throw a strike, and let's move on to the 10th frame.
He's hoping to strike on this lane. Because this is the key shot, the foundation frame, the 9th frame.
Very important shot here. Can definitely put a lot of pressure square on the shoulders of Jonathan Farrell. Gurney.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. Oh.
You see, he tried to, he kind of pointed it up a little bit, because the last one he came in light, and the next thing is to go heavier, and unfortunately he went through the nose.
So at this point, 4-7-10. Pin count out the window at this point. Go for the spare.
Oh, you got to go for it. You have to shoot this.
Big shot right here. Oh. Looks like it jumped out of the gutter there. We will have a score correction.
So he's got a $140 in the 9th, and now he's coming up on the 10th frame.
Yep.
He's going to have to hope for a little magic. But you know what I'm saying? Jonathan's going to have to really kind of hand it to him.
139 in the 9th. He was off of the strike there.
39.
So 2 pins down. Yeah, Jonathan, he would have to.
Interesting line score. He shoots 250, 260, and comes back with a buck. You'd have to ask him what's going on. You know?
Well, we'll talk to him in between. Actually, we're going to hopefully have a chance to talk to a few of our competitors tonight after the tournament is over. Some exclusive bowlinginvolved.com footage. Jonathan with a chance to pretty much put it out of reach. 9th frame.
Good shot. Let's see what it does.
There's
There's that light hit that finally carried.
Yep.
There's that light hit that finally carried. So we're looking at a David Haynes and a Jonathan Farrell final match.
Just needs count here.
So you're going to have somebody going real straight up the boards and someone hooking the ball.
Yep. Looks like David keeps glancing over here, licking his chops, as you so eloquently put it.
It's hard to say. Curious to see what kind of look he has on this pair.
You think someone like Jonathan Farrell has got a little bit of the nerves, the butterflies in the stomach at this point? Or do you think he's out of his system going to the championship match? Well, that's enough to win right there.
He's got a game under his belt. He'll shoot a 190 and win the match.
Yep. You got to wonder, though, anything can happen on any given day. Of course, coming up against, arguably one of the top regional competitors,
Absolutely.
It's going to be a tough time. It's going to be a tough time, but I think we're going to be in for one heck of a match.
Yes, I agree.
But Barry Gurney, nothing to be ashamed of at all. Had a very strong day today. Actually, considering some of the competition that was here for our Laughlin Cup, just a great showing from Mr. Gurney.
He's also dealing with a few health issues that he was almost not even going to compete. So you have to take everything into the whole thing.
Absolutely. And of course we wish Barry the best, and fighting through it, and he's out here bowling the best that he can. Still proud to call him a staff member, even if he is left-handed.
Suffer through it.
Yeah. Ferrell trying to have a strong last shot here. Ends up coming in light.
190.
190 on the nose. Jonathan Farrell advances to our final, taking on the king of Los Angeles.
There you go.
Very exciting. Barry going to finish out here. Maybe give this crowd something to cheer about the last few shots here.
Let's see what happens. No problem on that lane. You can get to the pocket a lot easier than the left lane, but the carry is always so. But that left lane is what did him in.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
He had to make terrific shots on that left lane. And it's just tough to do.
Unfortunately, just cannot capitalize. Makes a spare, though. The consummate professional he is. I'll tell you, to this day, Eric, yourself included, Barry, I love watching just the smooth stroker, the release.
It's a dying breed. Hurry back, hurry back.
All right, well,
Barry.
Nothing to be ashamed of. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around when we come back. Our championship match right after this.
That's it. Well, I watched David warm up, and he flushed everyone. He's throwing the Storm Manic, real heavy rolling ball, and with his big hand, he's going to open up that lane. Looks a little like West Milan out there, the way that ball's coming off the back of the lane. So, Jonathan's going to have his work cut out for him, but we'll see what happens.
Jonathan, first ball, and comes in. Oh, trips the
We'll
fourth
see
pin.
if David can slay Goliath.
Yeah, David and Goliath. Definitely
we'll see.
More camaraderie.
I understand. I understand.
Yep. This is...
David's a good guy. David's, like I said, one of the top players in Vegas. Just a well-seasoned player.
Yeah.
Top amateur player.
Yep. 10-time Team USA member. Good shot there. Ooh.
See, he got that ball a little right, and it barely came back.
Almost tripped the 10 out.
He wheeled on that one pretty hard, didn't he?
Absolutely, he did.
Actually, David joined the PBA. He's actually a PBA member now.
Yeah, five regional titles, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And of course, the owner of Nadu Haynes Bowling Supply.
David. I think actually it's David Haynes Bowling Supply.
Or is it David Haynes Bowling Supply now?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. looks to convert the spare and makes the 10 pin.
Spare, there you go.
Yeah.
Let's see if, let's see if how Jonathan can handle this whole thing.
Yep. I'll tell you what, it's definitely an intimidating situation to be coming up against someone like David Haynes, you know. I've been fortunate enough to bowl in some tournaments where David was also competing, and you know, it's something else to watch him bowl. And obviously, as they're watching our telecast tonight, they have a chance to see just how much power he really has.
Yes, he does. He's got quite the hand action.
Yeah. David coming up, second frame, lane 1. And that's 10 in the pit right there.
That's a little power right there. That's a little 10 in the pit.
Looks like he's playing a little bit straighter than he was during qualifying. He really was trying to get that ball outside of 5 during qualifying. Had a very, very strong angle to the pocket.
Well, he bowled on the first squad today, and then they re-oiled him, and they re-oiled him again. So, you know, you keep re-oiling the lanes, the transition, who knows what happens to the back of the lane. Yeah. But he's got a lot of power, and if anybody can get his ball to come through that, he can.
Yeah. Of course, we did strip the lanes after every squad. Farrell, second frame. And
there you go.
Good shot.
There's David.
Yeah, David coming back
up against Goliath. See, he's throwing it straight up the boards. Got that ball to tip in the right place, and there you go.
Has an opportunity to really make a big name for himself against really a top-flight competitor out here. That way, all the stripping and cleaning is provided by Techline Products, which is Motive Bowling. Just want to throw that out there.
Another shameless plug. Very good. Very good.
Jonathan coming up. Third frame, lane 1.
My partner has no shame. It's got to hurry.
Yep, got it. And
there's that flat 10.
A little flat.
See, when he misses to the right, his hand action, the power, he doesn't have enough to bring the ball back to carry the flat 10. He's in that flat 10. He's got to get straight with it. Now, if David was to miss like that with his power, he's going to obliterate the pin deck. So that's where, let's see if that makes the difference. But when you throw the powerful ball, you can also lead powerful splits.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we'll see. See what kind of a touch he has.
Ferrell looking at a 10 pin here. Lane 1. And converts it. Almost looked like a little left off his hand there, Eric.
Fortunately, he was throwing a plastic ball, and it held pocket there. Held all the way. So David's opening shot on this right lane was a little fast, got it quick to the right. I expect him to come right back and make an excellent shot here. Once he gets going, it's look out.
David lining up, third frame. Ooh, got that a little right, and Kris the 10, wow.
Now there's that shot that we trust that ball out there, and we leave that kind of a half 10. But see, he's got that messenger coming across, that extra pin. That's that power right there.
That's exactly how I throw the ball, you know. Oh wait, you've seen me bowl at one point, haven't you?
All I'm saying is crickets. Just crickets.
Oh, well, you know.
Silence. That doesn't even deserve a response,
yeah,
but
well.
that's okay. Here we go. This one, we'll see what he does here.
Haynes coming up, fourth frame. Lane 1.
Pretty good pitch there. Yeah. It's got to lay off.
Ooh.
It did lay off. But he almost left the 4-9.
Almost left that powerful split you were talking about.
There's that 4-9 because that ball was a little bit left to target. It had to lay, and it did. But, you know, he almost left the 4-9. Fortunately, he tripped out the 4. Only left with a 9. Should be an easy makeable spare for Mr. Haynes.
You definitely see the difference in lines he was playing from lane 1 to lane 2 right now.
Correct.
Coming in, you get 2 balls practice in each lane. You know, got to make that adjustment quickly. Looking at the conversion. Ooh.
Good thing we threw that urethane ball straight at that pin. It's a good thing.
I don't think anyone was sweating there.
No.
Got a smile on David as he's walking back there too. Yep. Definitely, definitely one of those things, and especially when the lanes are breaking down like that. Sometimes unpredictable. I'm sure Eric, you've seen that quite a bit in your days out there.
Oh, of course. But that's the thing is to try to figure out what to do, how to answer it.
Farrell.
Let's see what Jonathan does here.
Yep, coming up, fourth frame, lane 2.
Not a bad pitch.
Yep. Oh, wow.
Oh,
That's
solid.
That puts him -1 behind Haynes right now.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it looked like he tried moving that a little bit further inside. Ball kind of drove a little hard and just left that 9-pin.
I'll tell you what, that was a pretty impressive shot. That ball drove straight through the pins. Left a solid 9. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right-handers not supposed to leave a solid 9. They're supposed to leave a solid 8. That's crazy. You took chopped it right off.
I was gonna say, well, not supposed to, and then doing it are two completely different things, unfortunately. Farrell looking to convert here. No problem there. Makes a 9-pin. Kind of a bad break, puts him 1 pin behind David going into the 5th frame.
You know what, like I said, he may be an amateur player, but he's got a nice little arm swing. His arm swing is very straight. If you watch it, he pushes the ball out, lets it swing back. And he doesn't have a big hit at the bottom, but his swing keeps it on line and lets the ball do all the work.
Yeah. Definitely has...
And now that ball, that right lane hit like a truck.
Yeah, definitely has a lot of ability. Accuracy is very strong.
Yes.
Very strong. Coming up here, 5th frame, Jonathan Farrell. Working off the spare.
Came in light and shredded the pins.
You know, one thing we've talked about the low end, the low pocket, light pocket. You know, for some reason, this house, this being my home house, has always, for me at least, I've always found that the light hits tend to carry a little bit better than the heavy hits, and obvious evidence of that would be the last 2 shots of Jonathan Farrell.
Yes.
David Haynes coming up 5th frame, leads by 1, working off the spare. Looks like a pretty good shot there. No doubt about that one.
Boy, that's nothing but shrapnel in the back of the pins there. Shrapnel. Destruction. Didn't trust it as far to the right, but he had that little window down there, and that ball was just driving right through those pins.
When you watch a guy like David Haynes or a Ferrell Williams, or a guy that can really just overpower a shot, it's really amazing. But of course, seeing the contrast of styles, I think that's what makes bowling so great.
Yeah, because you can play with all different styles. If you learn your angles and you learn the right ball choices and work on your game, that's what makes the game so great.
David Haynes coming up, 6th frame, working off the strike.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
Now you see, he got that ball. There's that mistake that the power players make. They get a little bit out of whack, and the ball just goes right off the hand quick. Of course, he didn't want to throw the ball like that, and it just went too far right, too quick early, and now you're looking at a big split. There's that. That's the power players have to live with that.
Looking at a 2-10 split here in the 6th frame. Definitely makeable, certainly for someone of the caliber of David Haynes.
Yes.
A little extra time on the approach.
It's going to go hard and straight at it, I would think.
And that's an open in the 6th frame. That's going to put him in the hole. Jonathan Farrell with an opportunity to really put some pressure on David Haynes with the 6th frame coming up here.
Yeah, that's an aggravating shot. For any good player, that's aggravating. It just goes to show, the power players have it, but if they make a bad shot, the ball squirts too far to the right. Let's see how the kid answers this.
Farrell coming up, 6th frame.
They always say straighter could be greater, and who knows, it might be on this match.
Very good possibility here. Oh.
See, he didn't make a very good shot there, but he got away with a split.
Doesn't put him really in a tough situation. Though still has a chance to capitalize on that open with a spare here.
Fortunately for David, he didn't strike there, and again, this is no gimme spare. You still got to make a spare here.
6-10 is never an easy proposition. I have myself on many occasions have chopped a spare, unfortunately. But Jonathan Farrell, 6-10.
Uh-oh. Oh, he came back. All right. See you later, John.
Conversion there from Jonathan Farrell.
So David's down 11.
Down 11, going into the 7th frame. Match is still very close, of course. Jonathan has an opportunity to start playing some distance here.
David's got 237 available if he strikes out.
Yeah, 237 for David Haynes, and of course 248 for Jonathan Farrell. Excuse me, my voice is starting to go a little raspy here.
Does that mean we don't have to listen to you anymore?
Yeah, It is what it is.
Does that mean we don't have to suffer through your voice anymore?
Yeah, well, you know, just keep talking, Lefty.
Let's see. I will. Let's see where this one
Farrell.
goes.
Whoa! Five pin falls forward.
There's that light shot, and the 5-pin fell forward. That's a little strange.
Don't see that too often. But then again, as I said, this house, for whatever reason, light hits tend to carry better than the heavy hits. It's just one of the characteristics of Riverside Lanes. A lot of friction, light hits carry. Haynes coming up, 7th frame, off the open.
Good shot.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that ball went
wow.
crazy.
Really
How did that look so good through the front, and then the ball just jumped off the back of the lane.
Really came screaming back. Looked like he moved it a little inside of his last shot on lane 2.
See, isn't that something? You talk about the power players up against the straighter player. You know, years ago when I used to talk with Ernie Schlegel, he used to always say, straighter is greater. Now, here you go.
Here's evidence of that for sure.
Yep.
Looking for pin count here. Gets 2.
26. Yeah, he's going to have to start striking right about now.
Yep. Match is
right about now.
Yeah, match is starting to,
slip away a little bit.
He's
going to have to do something right here.
8th frame.
Because Jonathan's nice and straight up the lane, he's going to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, as long as he can stay consistent on his mark. David Haynes, possible 216 if he goes off the sheet here. Jonathan Ferrell still looking at a 248 max. Haynes, 8th frame. Got that, and there we go, 10 in the pit. Good shot by David Haynes.
He trusted that one really well.
Absolutely.
And it came all the way back, and he had the proper carry. So he pretty much has to take it off the sheet to put any kind of pressure on him.
Yeah. Jonathan Ferrell, good opportunity here to really put the distance in. He's been very consistent all day and has converted everything that he's needed to convert.
You see, he just kind of glanced up at the score there. I don't know if that's good or bad, but we'll see what kind of a shot he makes here, because this is the big one. This could put the match away.
Looks like he took a little bit more time on the approach. An adjustment of his feet. Comes in. Yeah, if he took a little bit more time on the approach.
He threw it a little faster, and it didn't quite get up the hill. Pretty makeable, easy spare right there.
5-8.
5-8.
Doesn't have to be fancy to get the W. Comes back to maybe overthinking the shot a little bit.
You know, I think there's a little bit of an adrenaline on that shot. He threw that ball. He had a little bit of zip on that one, and that ball just went right past the spot. So it's kind of hard to say. I mean, you'd have to ask him, but it wasn't a bad shot. But on this condition, this should be he should make this.
5-8.
A little bit slower speed. There you go.
Yep, makes a spare.
So he's got a 22-pin lead.
22-pin lead.
Foundation frame.
Looks like
if he strikes here, he'll put the heat on him. That's for sure.
Yep. Match is still in reach though for David Haynes. The match is definitely still in reach.
But I like Jonathan's position right about now.
Yeah. Jonathan has an opportunity of a strike here to really tie some knots into David Haynes going into the 9th and 10th frame. Farrell, 9th frame.
He got it right. Let's see what it does. There's that in-between shot.
Yep.
That kind of a in-between slash to rack shot. So no matter what David does, he cannot shut him out, no matter what he does.
No.
David's going to have to take it off the sheet, put all kinds of pressure on him. So he really has to strike on this ball for sure.
9th frame, Haynes needs to strike here, keep the pressure on, maximum 216. Oh wow!
You know, I thought it was going in, and then I don't know what kept it on the lane. And all of a sudden it goes sideways, and there's that. He almost looks like the two-handed bowler.
Yeah, he does have a law of the revolution.
Got that. So now he's going to hopefully. Well, he wants to strike out here.
Yep.
To force.
Farrell would have to.
He'd have to get the first one.
First one, yeah, and he's the first one, the 10th.
So he's going to put all the pressure on him here. Let's see how David handles this.
Yeah, absolutely. David has been in this situation many times before.
Of course. And you know he wants to strike.
Haynes, first
he got it left. Uh-oh.
Oh. A lot of frustration there, disappointment.
He's not a happy man. He just didn't make a good pitch there.
No.
He just didn't make a good pitch there.
Looked like he got it way inside of his line, and ball just
And that just goes to show, as good a player as he is, to make the mistakes. And I'll tell you what, Jonathan Farrell is looking like the champion of the Laughlin Cup.
Absolutely.
Shooter.
Wow, possible. Oh. Well,
what are you going to do?
179 for David Haynes. Yep. Tough breaks there. Just some bad shots, splits. Splits kill.
You know what? Bowlers make mistakes. Unfortunately, sometimes they make it right at the end, and that's what happened that time. Wow.
Farrell needs to keep it on the lane here.
Straighter is greater. That's it happens.
Needs to keep it on the lane. That's going to do it. We have our first Laughlin Cup champion, Jonathan Farrell.
Go figure. Hey, that's bowling. Yeah. That's the great part about the game. David can beat Goliath,
Absolutely. We're going to stick around and watch Jonathan finish out. Afterwards, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, our trophy presentation of the Laughlin Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, we're standing here with the first Laughlin Cup champion, Jonathan Farrell. Jonathan beating David Haynes here in the final, 217 to 179. First off, let me just say congratulations as I juggle the mic here.
Thanks.
Obviously, we had the trophy presentation. $500 in cold, hard cash, not to mention the $550 entry into the Proprietors Cup this year, and this beautiful trophy presented by Mr. Eric Forkel.
Good job. Thank you very much,
Great
Eric.
job. It was a pleasure watching you bowl.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that.
Really a fantastic bowling today. I think you might want the money. I mean,
sure.
I'm hoping so at least.
Yes.
So tell our audience at home, how's it feel to win the Laughlin Cup, and what does it mean going on to Ohio?
Unbelievable. I average 220 in my bowling center. I'm not a professional bowler like a lot of these guys out here, like David and Barry, that I respect very much. And I was surprised that I qualified second. And I knew how the lanes were, and I played them right, and I got a couple breaks, and here I am.
Well, definitely we were talking about it during the telecast. Straighter is greater.
Straighter is greater, and David slayed Goliath.
David certainly did slay Goliath. You threw the ball incredible. What does this kind of tournament mean to you? I mean, obviously not a lot of scratch points anymore. Do you see a lot of stuff in your local area, or is this something kind of unique?
No, this is very unique, yeah. My friend Sean Ashley qualified out at the west side of Phoenix, and he didn't even know what he qualified for. So I played Sweden, so I made some phone calls and found out, and said, let's go to Laughlin. Let's have fun. The Laughlin probably qualified, but let's go bowl anyway, and have some fun and see what happens.
Well, there we go right there. Of course, now I think Jeff is a lifelong fan for Bowling Standout, right?
Sure, of course. Shameless plug, but I like that.
Hey, we got a shameless plug. That's what's going to make us big, right? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to say thank you very much for sticking around and watching our presentation of the Laughlin Cup. Jonathan here is going to be going to Ohio for a chance to win big money in the Proprietors Cup. So, any words for your competition in Ohio? Hey, spoken like a bowler. Best of luck.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you both. Thanks a lot, man. Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, stick around for our next show coming up. And for all of our listeners, all of our watchers, thank you very much. On behalf of Eric Forkel, John Farrell, I've been Dustin J. Markowitz. Have a great night.
Good night.